Good morning, Schlog fans. Welcome to Schlog number 66. It is early in the morning and 5-something anyway. I'm enjoying a nice hot cup of optimism and getting ready for what I hope to be a better day. Yesterday wasn't great for lots of reasons. If you watched the last Schlog, you know. But today is going to be better. We got some great projects coming up. I got a KX450 I got to adjust the valves on, so do a super in-depth video on that for you guys because seems like that's something that people really want to know about. One of our biggest hits of a video right now is a YZ450 valve adjustment, so I'll video that. And yeah, we'll just rock and roll through the day. Here in a bit, I'm going to take the dog for a bicycle ride because I am out of shape and I just am struggling to get my motivation back to actually get back into shape. So hopefully we'll get that found. I'm going to go find some, going to be looking for some motivation in there. And we'll get after it. So if you guys like what we're doing, I would love a subscription from you. It would just mean the world. We're growing fast. Things are awesome. The channel is really just really filling my soul. I'm enjoying doing this thing. So if you think we've earned it, a subscribe would be great. A thumbs up is always awesome. So let's get on with the Daily Schlog, guys. We're at the shop. It's going to be a good day. I'm actually going to get things done today, I swear. Zach is working on a tiny tire, which is always a fun time. And he's going to be relacing a whole bunch of spokes on a tiny 50. So that's awesome. And very shortly, I will be adjusting the valves on this KX450 fuel-injected motorcycle. I don't remember what year it is. Let's see. By the way, in case you didn't know, the 10th digit in the VIN indicates the year of the machine. This one's going from bottom to top, but whatever. Sometimes they're oriented differently, but we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. 10th digit is a B. So we come up here to our chart. Now I probably should have this memorized, but I just don't. I don't take up brain space with that. But we come over here to our chart. It's obviously not an 81, so we come over here, 2011. So 2011 KX450F, we are going to be adjusting the valves, and we should actually need to adjust them because it doesn't start very good. And I think it's the valves and not anything to do with the fuel delivery. So that's coming up soon. But first and foremost, it's time to make a cup of coffee because I've been up since 4:30. I gotta have another cup of coffee. So, quick coffee information time because as you can tell and know, I love coffee. First of all, did you know that coffee was originally from Africa, from Ethiopia is where it originated? Like that was the one place on earth that it existed. And then it slowly grew across the modern world as people became aware of its awesomeness. So just a little fun fact to know and tell for all of you guys who like coffee, or even if you don't like coffee, quiz your friends. So yeah, I'm gonna get this going and I'm gonna pull this KX up here. Get the seat and tank off. I'm not going to film that because if you can't get the seat and tank off the bike, just bring it to me and I'll take care of it. All right, guys, here we go. Valve adjustment, 2011 KX450F. Honestly, it's an awful lot like, I think pretty much all the KX450s. One of the cool things about KXs is how easy it is to get into here once you get the tank out of the way. There's no frame spars and all that stuff. It's this twin spar frame, which is what this is called, allows you to get in here really easily. So I'm gonna take the valve cover off. Like I said, this is so much easier to deal with than the Yamahas or the KTMs or anything like that, because there's no frame running over it. Makes it really easy to get to, which makes me happy. So, first thing you do, take a good look at everything. It all looks really clean and happy, so that's good. No scoring on the lobes. Everything's shiny. There's oil. Good first impression. So, now we're going to rotate the motor and get it to where it's close to top dead center. You don't have to get it right on top dead center. I'll show you why here in just a second. So when you're doing this job, it really helps a lot to have the spark plug out, because it allows you to roll the motor over easier, and you don't have to, you're not fighting the compression of the motor. You'll still be fighting the valve springs and the pressure on the valves as the cams rotate around, but you won't be dealing with the compression, which will actually help this whole situation go a lot easier. So, plug out. Looks like it's burning about like all fuel injected bikes are burning, which is kind of a little bit lean, but not bad. This is better than most, so set that over there. We'll be putting a new one in it while we're at it. This tool is pretty nice to have. There's the part number 080087, but you don't have to. The right size flat blade screwdriver works just fine too. So now we're going to rotate the motor to get it at top dead center, or at least close to it. So that's the end of the crankshaft. 17 millimeter socket fits on that. Motors generally turn like this way, and you want to go with the direction of rotation that it normally goes. It just spins easier that way. So we're going to be turning left, and what we're doing is we're looking in here. There's going to be a mark, and it's not going to be easy to show you guys on here. So I think it might have gone past it. So you'll need a flashlight to get in there and look, and so give me a second. I'll see if I can't find the mark. There it is. So every bike manufacturer does this a little differently. Some put the timing marks before the top dead center mark, some don't. KX or Kawasaki does not. They just put one mark, and that is for top dead center. So I don't know if you guys can see in there, but I doubt you can. Anyway, there's a mark on the flywheel. You line that up with the marks in here, and you're good. It's mail time, guys. I had to take a break because it's mail time, and mail time's awesome. Looks like this one is from our friend Denise Lupier. It says, "Attention, Ewan Spradling." That's my 11-year-old. I'm gonna open it because I'm excited to see what it is. And then obviously, if it's not too cool, I will actually still give it to Ewan. But if it's really cool, Denise, I might keep it. Oh, how cool is this? So, this is Ewan, you are riding great. Keep up the good work. Dirt bikes! Denise, thank you so much. That is awesome. It is a brand new kids hoodie. I think it's a KTM. Let's take it out. Unfortunately, it's not going to fit me. Otherwise, I would, steal it from the kid. But, boom, look at that. Thank you so much, Denise. That is rad. Seriously, that is so cool. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is awesome. He is going to freak out when he sees that. So, actually, I'm going to take a picture of it right now and send it to him. Let's see. Dude. And another mail time. I already opened it, but from Alfred Bear in Cortez, Colorado. He wanted some stickers. He asked, I said, you want you PayPal me $5 and I'll send you a selection. He's like, dude, I'm just gonna put money in the mail. So there's my $5. There's our conversation on email. Thank you so much, Alfred. I'm gonna get those stickers heading towards you today. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Awesome mail time, guys. If you want to send anything to us, I'll put a link, or I'll put the address to the shop in the description of the video. I appreciate everything. Thank you guys so much. I love you. Time to get back to the KX. Hey! So, Zach is winning today because, first of all, he's working on that thing. Anyway. But he also has the coolest grease gun ever. Seriously, look at that thing. I just ordered one on Amazon, so I'm gonna put a link in the description if you guys want to order one. This is like the coolest mini tiny grease gun ever. I feel stupid for not owning one, but I feel a little bit smarter because I just ordered one. So anyway, that's awesome. Let's get back to the KX. So we're at top dead center. You can see that the cams are, the lobes are facing out and up. Well, they're mainly out, but they are up. The reason that you don't actually have to have it top dead center is really, you just need the base circle of the cam over the bucket. So now we're gonna check clearance, and honestly, right now, we are hoping for tight. Because if they're not tight, that means we have another problem that we have to solve for it getting harder to start. So, I'm gonna start with a 3000, which is a 0.076 millimeter on the intakes. I'm gonna try to run them in here. And there we go. It does not go. That's good. So these feeler gauges are really nice because they got this bend on them, makes them, and they're skinny. They're actually made specifically for the Genesis motor from Yamaha, but they work on everything, obviously. So you come in here. I like to put it on the lobe of the cam and then let it slide down underneath. That doesn't go. We'll do this side. Change hands here. A little more dexterous with my right hand. So that also doesn't go. So like I said, that's kind of a good thing. Now we'll check the exhaust. Generally, these motors are like 4 thousandths, like 4 to 6 thousandths on the intake and 6 to 8 on the exhaust. I don't know exactly the clearance on this KX, but that will be close enough for sure. So we'll go with a 6 on the smaller side of the exhaust. Same thing. Come in here. Ooh, yeah. 6 goes right in. There we go. 6 goes right in. So that's super normal. Intake valves are almost always the tight ones. Rarely is it the exhaust. Now we gotta loosen the cam chain tension, and we're gonna pull the cam caps, which are these, off. Lift that cam up out of there. We'll pull the shim, or pull the buckets off, pull the shims out, measure them. Put smaller ones in, go back together, measure it again, see if we get there. And then, yeah, so we'll walk you through that. Zach mentioned the pretzels again. It's killing me. Killing me. Hopefully the pretzel guy shows up. And by pretzel guy, I mean the Matco guy. But he sells pretzels too. And they're the stinking best pretzels in the world. If you guys watched the live show, you saw me eating them and enjoying them. Like, maybe a little too much. They're so good. Anyway. All right, so here we go. First job, taking the tension off the cam chain. This little guy is just a cover. Now that that is off, come in here with this nice long skinny flat blade screwdriver. Come in from the back side. Come in here, and as you twist it righty-tighty, it actually is taking tension off the cam chain. and like it's retracting the tensioner. And when you get to, it'll stop at some point. And if you just put a little bit of on it, it should stay. It did not right that time. Now I can take it out if I need to, but if I don't have to, I won't. There we go. Tighten her down. Now you can look. It's all loose. So I'm gonna give you guys probably the greatest tech tip ever for doing things like this today. So make sure you pay attention, because I'm going to save you a ton of time if you're doing this. All right, so one of the big issues and things that people freak out about on adjusting valves is getting the cam timing right as you go back together. And it's a good thing to freak out about, because if you mess it up, you break things and it's not good. So it's a good thing to worry about. But I'm going to show you a way that you never ever have to worry about it. So first, let's loosen the cam caps. Put these in our handy dandy tray. Now, I will show you how to time it, or how to at least check the timing, so that in case you mess up or forget or whatever, you know how to do it. But I'm going to show you right now the coolest trick for making sure you don't even ever have to mess with it. So what you do, take a zip tie, you're going to come in here like that. You're going to tighten this thing down nice and tight. So that, you look right there, that's gonna hold it on the right tooth, okay? So now we're gonna take these cam caps off. So on Kawasaki's, you gotta be careful, because these little tubes are separate. We'll take this gasket off. Don't forget to put that back in, or you'll get oil all down in your spark plug hole. So these tubes, like I said, they're separate, and so you gotta be careful not to mess them up or lose them. So kind of do that. It's okay if they come out, because they go back in pretty easy, but there we go. We got lucky. Came out all as one piece. There. Now, these little half circles, really important not to lose, because they like to fall down in that hole. When they fall down in that hole, then you got to take the ignition cover off and dig around. Anyway, it's a nightmare. It's not the end of the world, but if you're just doing a valve adjustment, there's no need. So now with our zip tie there, and we know we only have to adjust these valves, we can just lift this up and kind of pull it out of the way like that. And we know that when we slide it back in, it's going to be timed correctly. Haha, there you go. Tech tip. Do that. It will save you a bunch of time and hassle down the road. Magnet, highly important for this thing. What you don't want to do is use pliers on these buckets, because you'll mess them up and then you'll be sad. So magnet pulls it out. Usually the shim's going to stay right there. If it doesn't, it will be right there, and you can pull it out with a magnet later. So we're going to start with this one. I like to do one at a time. That way you don't mix buckets up, you don't mix shims up, and it's just easy. So, by the way, quick tech tip: ride a two-stroke, and you never have to do this. That's the best tech tip I have for you. All right, so there's our valve shim. This one is a hot cams, which means this job's already been done. I think I actually did this job last time, and it was a different owner, but you guys are never going to probably see this on the camera, but there is a number on it. So it's 2.25. That's 2.25 millimeters. So I don't actually have to measure it. And since
Since those valves are all the way tight, the 3,000ths won't go. I didn't check it with the 2, but we're basically just guessing now, because if we'd been able to slide that 3 but it was tight, we could have measured and then done the math to figure out what size shim to go in there to get the clearance correct. But since we don't have that information, we don't really know what the actual clearance was. I think it was all the way tight against it, because that's why it's getting so hard to start. It was actually holding the valves open just a tiny bit and losing some compression. So now we're guessing to put them back in, which then we'll have to recheck the clearance, and if we don't guess correctly, then we'll have to do the math. So, but normally for me, it seems like, I don't know, I usually guess about like 4 sizes. So 4 sizes down. So that was a 225, which was there, and that's empty. So that's good. We don't need that one. Actually, I have more. So let's go 4 down. So that's 225. So 220, 215, 210, 205. So we're gonna go with the 205. Come over here, put that in by hand. There we go. Take our bucket, clean it out, make sure there's no grime or grease on there. If there's any particulates of any kind down in there, it's going to change the clearance and you won't get a good reading. So alright, there's one. There's the shim, that's good. So I don't know if you can see that. That one says 210 on it very clearly. Get it out of there. So we'll put that in 210. So we'll go 4 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. That goes to a 190. Come back over. Hand install. Zach Zebra bike. This is Eddie Van Halen bike. One of our customers was here and he's like, yeah, that guy must love Eddie Van Halen. Oh, that was awesome. Totally Eddie Van Halen. We'll put our bucket back in. So now, because we have it zip tied, all we do is just set that back down in. We know timing is correct. But now we have to check the valves, because, like I said, we don't know. Oh, take our cam caps. Now, I am not going to put the little half circles in here yet, because I just want to put pressure on the valve, or I just want to put pressure on the cams enough that we get a good reading. If it's right, then I'll take them back off, put the half circles in. That does make an extra step, but if it's wrong, I haven't had to deal with that. So, and generally, since we're guessing, you just never know if you're going to be right. So, set our caps back down in. There we go. And like I showed before, you really only need these 2 here and 2 here to hold pressure evenly. It's unfortunate that this isn't all one piece, because if it's all one piece, you just like one here, and you'd be good. But since they're 2 pieces, you gotta bolt them both down. So I'm gonna use my gun because I'm trying to do this, trying to save some time. But also this gun, if you don't let it go for too long, it really only puts like 5 foot-pounds on it. It's really lightweight. There we go. All right, feeler gauges. There's my 4,000ths. That's the minimum. So we're gonna come in here. So that doesn't go. Let's see if this one does. So this side does, and it feels good. So that means that we guessed right on this shim. We did not guess small enough on this shim. Let's see if 3 will go, because then if we know 3 will go, we'll just go 1 shim size down. All right, so 3 goes, 4 won't. So we just need to go 1 more shim size down. That's easy. All right, so pop that back off. It had a 205, as we know, because we just did it. 205, I put a 200 in it. So let's check this again with the 4000s. There we go. So that slides nice. Perfect. I like to set valves a fuzz on the tight side, like not tighter than spec, but on the tight end of spec, because that actually allows the cam to open the valve a little bit further, which usually gives you a little more horsepower. And if they're wearing out, they're wearing out, and it's going to happen pretty quickly anyway. So a little more horsepower is always good. So now we got to tighten these cam caps down. These on every bike is like the most important thing on any motorcycle, to actually use a torque wrench, because if you over torque them, you'll ruin the head, ruin the cams, cost lots of money. It's a giant bummer. I've seen it happen so many times. So got our super duper handy dandy awesome snap-on digital torque wrench. It's probably already set, so 8 foot-pounds. I'm gonna go 7 foot-pounds. Oh, this is nice. These are super nice. It's got numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kawasaki taking the guesswork out. That's pretty cool. There we go. Torque to spec, which is a good thing. Now, don't forget our little guy. There we go. Got to make sure we clip our zip tie. So one of the things I've seen people do, sweet, that'll work right there, Russ. It doesn't matter. Russ is having a problem with his new 250. What year is that thing?
17.
17.
Oh, it just went. Now it's working.
Let's see what happens here.
I mean, this morning I turned it. There was nothing.
So I wonder, the other thing that could happen is there's a relay underneath the seat, not the starter relay, but there's another relay that's the fuel pump. It's kind of the master relay for the fuel pump and stuff. Like I said, it's not the starter solenoid relay. And I've seen those fail on these things. All right, guys, so we got the valve clearances set correctly. We're all happy. We got the cam caps all torqued down to spec, which is 7 foot-pounds. Now, we don't need to check the timing really, although it's always a good idea to look at it since we did our zip tie trick. But let me show you how to look at that and make sure it's correct. So in there's a mark. You want to line it up there. I wish I could show you better. I don't have a good camera for that. But anyway, get that set to top dead center. And then up here, there's a little dot right there. and then there's a dot over here, and they need to be flush with the head surface. And actually this one's not a dot on the Kawasaki's, I forgot. It's actually a line. It's right in there. And then there's a dot over here, and you want those to be lined up. And you saw me pull on this cam chain because when everything's normal, there's gonna be tension on that cam chain pulling it tight. So here's the thing that you gotta do. So now we know the timing's right, we know the valves are right, we know everything's torqued right. What you're gonna wanna do is roll the thing over and make sure you got everything right. But before you do that, you wanna release the tension on the cam chain tensioner. So you take your screwdriver, come in here, find where it goes, and then you turn it lefty-loosey, and it's gonna spring back. So now, check here, seems good. So now, we'll rotate the motor, and it should rotate pretty easy because there's no spark plug in it, but it feels good. It turns over nice and smoothly. There's no stop, no nothing weird, so that's good. Put our little guy back in here. Yep. Now, put our inspection covers back, inspection plugs, covers, whatever you want to call them, back in. Now, we're going to drop her down, put the valve cover back on, new spark plug in it, and kick it and see if it starts. I have a feeling it's gonna. And when we're done with that, we got to put a tire on this thing. By the way, second only to his love of zebra bikes is Zach's love of four-wheelers. Look at that. See that smile on his face? You can see it through here. It's awesome. Oh, he's a good sport, and that makes me happy. All right, let's see if this thing starts. Always rolling through a couple times again with the spark plug in there, just make you feel better about the whole situation. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, Morgan, that took like 3 kicks. And that's because I had the tank off. This thing's been sitting 3 or 4 days, and it takes a while to prime the fuel pump and get everything charged up, ready to go for it to then fire. So feel good about that. Whew. Again, say what you want about Kawasaki's, but man, they make a ton of horsepower. All right. Let's change the tire. Well, we'll button her back up, then change the tire. We got the Kawasaki all done. We went with a Pirelli MX Extra, which honestly is a really, really good intermediate terrain tire. You can see the knobs are reminiscent of a 404 or a Bridgestone X30, and I like them a lot. They're $74 for a 110 119, so that's not bad, honestly. And new tube, new tire, it's all ready to go. He's gonna be stoked. He can go ride because, you know, no one's working, so might as well go ride. So today is going way better. Got the KX, went well. I'm making Zach work on a four-wheeler. That makes me feel good in my heart. Actually, it's pretty sad because he's spending some really quality time with that four-wheeler, and it's oh man. Anyway, ZRX back up, carburetor's off. We're gonna take these things apart, figure out what's going on. Hopefully there's something wrong in here, because if there's not anything wrong in there, Then we got maybe a problem in here, which is the stator. Yeah, stator or ignition coils, or I don't know. I keep finding things that seem to be wrong, and it keeps being a pain in the butt. But that's okay. That's part of life. So I'm gonna start taking these things apart. We're getting close to the end of the day, so I'll probably just hit you guys with the outro here in a bit. Right on, guys, thank you so much for joining me for today's Schlog. Today was a much better day. Thank you so much for reaching out about Hazel. I really appreciate it. I've had dogs my whole life, and it is always so hard. It just never gets easier to lose one. They're just family to me, at least. So thank you guys so much for the love. It really means a lot. Yeah, I love you guys. Things are awesome here. The shop is rocking and rolling. Zach's doing great. We're doing great. So thank you so much. I love you. Get out, spread the gospel of two wheels, and please, it's good for you. You gotta get out and ride your dirt bikes!